Hi, this is Laura Jeffrey, founder of StartYourWeddingBusiness.com. And for this session today, we're going to be having a chat about something that I call the list, which is basically the most useful thing that you will probably use whilst you're coming up with your wedding business idea and getting your plan together for how you're going to get it up off the ground and running. So I've often said I think it's amazing that anyone gets any businesses launched at all, because it's just so it can seem like such a massive mountain to climb when you've come up with your idea and you just think, where on earth do I start? How am I going to breathe life into this thing and actually get it out there and get people buying stuff from me? It can seem like such an overwhelming, completely intimidating task. So firstly, well done to you if you're actually at the stage where you're thinking, what steps to take next to get your business launched and brought to life. So using this tool, I suppose you could call it. I call it the list, and it's something that I've always done. Even when I was employed, I used to work as an event manager, and for every single event that I was assigned, I always used to write the list. So basically, it was a huge brain dump of everything in my mind that I could think of that I would need to do to make that event happen. So I'd literally write, and in no particular order either. You don't have to kind of think in a way of what order things need to happen. This is literally just getting everything down onto paper, because once you've got that list, you can then go through it and kind of sort out what order you want to do things in. But the important thing is getting all of the action points down onto paper so that you have got an idea of what you want to do next and what you need to do to get your business up off the ground and running. So have a look at the workbook which I've made for you, which you can download below. And I'll just run through with you what I have put on my lists before when I've been launching businesses, kind of the areas that you need to think about. Now, say for launching StartYourWeddingBusiness.com, I had an A4 notebook and pretty much, I think, three lined A4 notebook, and 3 pages, I think it was, of that had my list on it of stuff to do. So the areas that I would be thinking about when thinking about starting a wedding business, the first thing that I'd put on that list would be logo and branding. So for your company that you're about to launch, what's its character? What logo are you going to have? Presumably at this stage you've come up with the name. The name might need to be something that also goes onto the list. Maybe you need to still come up with a name. But name, branding, logo, that's kind of the first thing that I would do on my list, actually, because that's kind of your business identity. So it's a great starting point. So, think about all the different things that would come under that heading. So it might be that you need a designer to come up with your logo, that you need to do some research on colours that work together, all that kind of thing. So logo and branding I would have as your first port of call on your list. The second thing that I would be doing would be working on my website. So that's kind of your online presence for your company. So I'd get your website and your build and content, all of that, I'd get that down on the list. Next thing I would do would be social media. So getting your social media names registered, like grab those names that are going to be linking in with your company name, and make sure that you can get hold of those on social media. So think about which social media platforms you want to use as well. You don't necessarily have to do all of them, but it might be a good idea to kind of register your name with all of them, so that in the future, if you do decide to start using certain ones, you've got your name registered and you're safe. The next thing that I'd be looking at would be what to do with developing your products or your service. So that's quite a massive heading, obviously, but underneath that you can kind of do obviously all your researching, whatever it is that you need to do to build your product or service, that needs to come under that heading. The next thing that I would be thinking about would be help that you're going to be needing. So is this a project that are you going to be able to run your business totally on your own, or are you going to need employees? Are they going to be full-time paid staff, or are they going to be freelance staff, or can you just use external companies who can provide you with what you need to get your product or service kind of up and running and ready to provide to the weddings that you're going to be working on? So that's kind of quite a big heading, actually, you know, what help you're going to be needing to get your business off the ground and running properly. So the next heading that I'd be looking at would be your premises or your office, or are you going to be working from home? You know, that's a heading right there, and underneath that it would be kind of like, you know, if you're going to work from home, you've got to be thinking, where are you going to be working from home? Is there a bedroom that you can turn into an office, or are you going to be working on the dining room table? Or if you need to be looking into office space or buying or renting shop space for your products or services, that's a heading that needs to go on there. I'd also be thinking about the materials that you're going to need to, you know, put in your shop. So, you know, are you going to be needing shelving, or are you going to be needing a till? Put all of that under that heading. If you're going to be running an online business, then you need to be thinking about your selling platform. So you're going to be using Etsy, are you going to be using Amazon, are you going to be using eBay, or are you just going to be using your own website and driving traffic there from Facebook advertising? I'd whack that down on the list too. The next thing that I'd be thinking about on the list would be my launch and my launch planning. So under that, you've got marketing, PR, all the different things that you're going to need to kind of like get your business in front of people's eyes so that people know who you are. So that would be a part of the list. So if you can see what I'm saying, it's kind of like it's getting all of these major headings, but then breaking it down into doable action points underneath each of those headings. So all those little topics that I've just spoken to you about just now, underneath each of those, you might have a couple of pointers to do, you might have 20 pointers to do, but the point is to actually write down an action point for each thing that needs to be done, because then you can cross it off your list, and bit by bit, by the time you reach the end of that list, you will have a business that's ready to launch. That's the whole idea. And with them, like when I was saying before about the events that I used to run, I knew that if I could get to the end of that list, I'd have an event that was ready to run. And I would have pretty much said, hand on heart, that I've thought of everything that I can, everything that might go wrong, everything that needs to be done, all the people that I need to work with, all of it was on that list. And I knew that if I'd crossed every single last thing off, I'd have an event to run. And that exactly the same process applies to starting a business. It's literally a case of taking one tiny step at a time, but keep on taking steps. Like, don't sit on stuff. If there's something that you really don't fancy doing, don't do it that day. Just move on to the next thing on the list and start on that instead. But at some point in the future, depending on how much time you've got, how much energy you've got, you will get to the end of that list and you will have a business ready to launch. So really, really good luck with it. Let me know how you find that style of planning. Let me know if you've found that helpful. Yeah, I hope you enjoy your workbook, and I will see you again next week.